and welcome to this additional video on integrated dynamics and how I used it to automate the colouring of wool. This video is in addition to my Avant 3 series, and I've separated it out because it's probably a lot easier to explain in a separate video than to go through the main video to find the information. And of course, if you're not interested in it, you don't need to watch it. If you're not sure what I'm doing here, go check out the other video. I'll put a link up on the screen for you, and it'll also be down in the description. So, let's get started. Okay, so the way it works is I have here a Redstone reader. Now, the Redstone reader is not connected to anything. It's just pointing at a power thing for now. But it's actually not connected to anything. What I'm using it for is Redstone clock, which of course is a pulse every length or interval, which apparently you can set in here, but I can't seem to get that interface to come up. Not entirely sure why. So it's just whatever the default is because I can't change it. And over here I have another variable which is set the inventory is not empty. So this returns a boolean. I've combined these two together, and it's what's placed in here. So we've got an ampersand. So if we look at how the variables work, go into here. So your ampersand, you give it two booleans, and it will give you a boolean back. So that one there is pretty easy. All it's basically saying is that while there are items in this inventory, so if there's anything in this inventory, every time the redstone clock ticks, send a redstone output, because that's what this one here is, a redstone output, just a plain old one, to the placer. So as long as there is wool on there, it'll keep, or any full block actually, it'll place it down here. Now the good thing about this here is it doesn't matter if there's a block here or not. If there's a block there, it won't place anything. If there is a block, of course, it'll just sit there. So it works pretty well on that part. We don't need to put any more complex logic in there to say if this has got something in it. That's the easy one. The next thing I've got is I have a block reader here, which is set to this block here. So, for example, if I probably place a piece of dirt, shouldn't make any difference. As you can see, though, it's kind of trigger it. But you can see now it says dirt, so that's what it's reading from the block reader. Take it off so it doesn't constantly do that. So I've got one variable for that, and just underneath it I've also got another variable that says has block. Now I'm using the has block for if there's anything in there, because of course if it's air it's a bit harder to test for if it's just a block of air. So I'm basically saying if there's something there, then we can trigger the lens of color. Kind of. It's not quite that simple. Hopefully at this point I'll be putting something on the screen to show you a bit more of what I'm trying to do and how it works, because it's not quite, I may not be explaining it right. So on top of that, so we've got our block, we have a block here. The other thing I've got is, of course, I've got the type of block. I have a variable in here. So these are a redstone clock that we were using before, and the inventory is not empty, which is for the block placer. I've also defined a direct block. So this is just a block by itself. In the last episode, I showed off having to do some converting it to item stack, which I found that you don't need to do. If we search for block in here, right at the bottom, you've got this here, right at the bottom, and of course you can place your green wool on there, and it will allow you to define that as a block. So that becomes one variable, and that's the variable we're testing for. I have the current block, the top one from here, the block. I've duplicated that and stuck it into the display panel here, so that's just our block that we're reading from there. So of course you would have noticed when we put the wool in, the display changes to the color of wool that's currently there. This is really just for debugging purposes, so that I can look at it and go, okay, it's reading what I think it's reading, and then of course it stops showing it when it's empty. So I've got the block. Now of course that's just defining that we need, this is the block we're looking for. This one here is the block that we have read out of the slot. We then do an equals, so these two have to equal. If they equal, then it returns a boolean. On top of that, it's actually that way around. On top of that, we have has a block, so that's our has block here, saying if there's a block there. And then that is then configured into this guy to say if it's exactly a green block, this is where it gets a bit confusing, a bit harder to explain. So it's variables IDs 9 and 13. So 9 and 13. So there's 9, and that's that's 9 and 13. So that there is an ampersand going straight into there. So the auto breaker is set to if it has the green wool, or it has a block in the slot, there's something there, and it exactly equals the green wool. So the block that's there is green wool. If that happens, then of course that emits a redstone signal, because it's just a boolean again, on, off, true, false, which triggers this guy to break the block in front of it. The one that is remaining, which is the one behind it, so this one here is a not. So it's not the same condition. That one's 13. This one here is 13, which is our equals equals. So if it's not exactly equaling the two blocks here, and we have a block, and then lastly on top of that, we combine this one here with the redstone clock, so that we send a pulse on a regular basis, which we're getting from our redstone regularly here. So if we take those out just as a test, place the 4 wool into there. One green wool. Another green wool. Another green wool. Four green wool, no wool left, and of course it stops. So that pretty much covers the process I've used. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions or anything else, do leave a comment down below. If this video has helped you in working out how to do this yourself, hit that like button. If you're new to my channel and want to follow on with other series that I do, or keep up with these extra little bits and pieces, hit that subscribe button. But otherwise, have a great day, and see ya!